What's going on, you guys? It's Perry the Entertainer back again for another video. We're going to be talking about some Monday Night Raw tonight that happened on July 21st, 2014. Instead of the Wrestling Joni here, I actually have three of my very good friends here in a Google Hangout here. I don't really know how to use these too well, but send it over to Eddie,
What's up?
talking wrestling.
What's up, guys? Glad to be here. Do you mind if I plug the Twitter real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, as you can see there, you can find us at Talking Wrestling, and of course, you can find us on YouTube. Just search Talking Wrestling in the search bar, no spaces.
Eddie, do you have any plugs that you wanted to send your way to?
You can follow me on Thrill Terrain, which is on Twitter, and oh, you can friend me on Facebook, Eddie Harrowby, and yeah, subscribe to my channel if you're interested.
All right, all right. And last but certainly not least, we have OK Fabe over here. Looks like he's sleeping. OK Fabe.
That is awesome.
Okay, now we get that up.
Standing ovation.
Thank you. I just didn't my drug zombie walk, Booker T walk. Thank you.
Oh man, dude, I didn't think you were gonna do it, but I give you mad props for that.
10 out of 10.
I'll Bret Hart it. I'll give you a 4. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take the 4.
You want to plug anything before we start this?
Oh, why the hell not? All right, I've got myself a Twitter at OKFabe, and of course my YouTube channel, youtube.com/OKFabe forever.
All right. Let's start this. So we started off Raw with Triple H going out there saying that basically he was trolling the IWC. We all saw that. And said that he was going to be announcing John Cena's opponent for SummerSlam later tonight. We ended up getting interrupted by Roman Reigns, Kane, and Randy Orton, all setting up a handicap match to start off Raw. What did you guys think about all that?
I feel like it was a bitch fest. I mean, at first it's like, I'm going to announce who's going to be the first person to win the... All right, what do you want, Orton? Oh, okay, that's not... Damn it, what do you want, Christ. Reigns, back in your corner. And just like, it was just an... And then all of a sudden, like, they just like, fight, like, okay, have a match. Bye. Really kind of random, but not the worst thing I've seen.
It felt really familiar to me. I feel like every Raw for the past like year and a half has started out with either one of Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, John Cena, or Randy Orton. It's always one of those four, and it just felt really familiar to me.
Daniel Bryan, too.
Daniel Bryan, also. True.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely the 5-year formula that's been going on Raw for the, and I think now it's more like a TNA thing, and it's just I'm really sick and tired of Raw opening up with promos. But if it's going to set up something that is interesting, then I'm fine with that. But if it's like again, Randy Orton, Kane, all the same guys. I mean, you gotta start off Raw with like something important, something that is just going to make people say, "Wow, I can't wait till the next 3 hours," because who's really gonna watch 3 hours if it's just gonna be all the same guys over and over again? So
You know what they should open up with Raw with? Is Pyro. Oh, wait, crap, budget cuts, never mind.
Oh, yeah, that's
Dean
right.
Ambrose threw
it's
2
been
chairs
saved
in the ring
for
tonight.
a special guest.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Flo-Rida later.
Please don't.
Great.
Please. No, it hurts. It hurts to talk.
But we got some. It leads into the big segment of the night.
I said this before you get to that. I said this on Twitter and it got retweeted like 12 times. I said, "Go figure. Someone always gets arrested at a Flo-Rida concert."
Awesome.
Oh, man.
We'll get into that later, I'm sure.
But what do you guys think about the Roman Reigns character? That's the one question I want to throw out to you guys.
Oh.
Getting stale.
already
really,
stale.
really fast.
isn't
What
it?
he's got like 3 moves in a clothesline: the Superman punch, the spear, the little thing he does on the apron, and then a clothesline, and that's it.
Don't
But
forget
that's
the
what
ooh,
Oh,
ah!
and the Uso too.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
what
he
WWE does for all their
reminds-
talk.
So
he's starting to remind me a lot of Cena himself, and I know that they're probably grooming him to take Cena's spot later on, but I don't know, with the way he's been looking dominant over the last few months after the whole Shield dissolution, he's starting to remind me too much of Cena. And I don't know if that's maybe why, but I'm
he's like
trying to
Cena
find
with
myself
a
be a fan.
tan
It's not working.
and
Right.
less mic skills. Cena with a tan, less mic skills, and less moves. When you have less moves than Cena, you should be worried.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the thing that differentiates him from Cena. I'm not disagreeing with you guys in terms of how they're presenting him and how they're building him up, but I think that the lack of, or I shouldn't say lack of talking, but the very less talking on the mic, combining that with him just basically just like demolishing people, is kind of what they don't like about Cena. Cena just goes on and on and on and on sometimes, and Roman's straight, quick, and to the point. As far as the moves thing, yeah, he only does a couple of moves, but WWE purposely does that. They only purposely allow or showcase a certain set of moves. That way, when it comes to the bigger matches, and they pull up something out of their hat that you haven't seen, it's more like a wow factor. But yeah, I can definitely see the comparison of Reigns and Cena in terms of them building them up at the same time.
And I know what you're saying about the moves, where they save the moves, but the thing is we've seen Reigns in big matches, and I still feel like all we see is the Superman punch, the spear, the apron thingy, and a clothesline. Like, I mean,
Totally.
like even last night in at Battleground, I mean, that was a match full of signature moves and clotheslines. It felt like,
Don't forget to kick off the apron.
well, and the kickoff,
Oh,
the apron,
yeah.
I
and a
think Roman
spear.
Reigns should be getting the Goldberg chance.
But he looked like an MVP on Sunday, though. I mean, we all got to say, though, he was the main reason that last match was actually a success.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
'Cause he
but
kept
then
us
you
all
gotta look at
intrigued.
the other guys that are in there. Like, I mean, there was a video actually. It was pretty funny. It was a fan reaction to the Battleground pay-per-view, and it was a bunch of like casual fans, and all of them are like, "Yeah, let's go Cena, let's go Cena. Cena's the man, 15 champion." It's funny seeing how people think of like, we're all so done with Cena, but I mean, the casual fan, Cena is appealing still, and I guess that's why WWE still goes with him. But it's pretty clear that they're trying to groom Roman to be the next Cena.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, a really hard, I don't want to say hardcore, but a more than casual wrestling fan does not like Cena. But
Yeah,
WWE's
exactly.
not catering. But WWE's not catering to that. They're catering to masses. They want as
Yeah.
many eyeballs fixated on their product as much as humanly possible. WWE Network. So I don't know. I had that cough out of nowhere.
But the
So,
thing is, you got to
that was the Michael
you
Cole
got
cough.
to add a little bit more legitimacy to your product. I mean, if a casual fan sees Cena who's doing like his 5 moves of doom, doing the "you can't see me," I mean, does that really make the product look cool? Other than
Yeah.
like when Roman Reigns does his Superman punch or whatever? Because
to us, no.
But
People
but
would
see,
be
Because
they
like,
he's
know,
not supposed to cater to us.
yeah, they know we're gonna keep watching no matter what. We're gonna keep watching, like, even if Cena is the champion or whatever, because we're tuning in for the guys like Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, the indie guys that are coming up through
Dean Ambrose
NXT.
and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember who, but someone wrote a very well comparison article and compared WWE's booking and the way they placed their characters to a lot of the way they did it in the 80s, where a lot of fans at our level would be more interested in, let's say, people who were involved with the Intercontinental title. Your Rick Rudes, your Ricky Steamboats, your Savages at the time. And while Hogan was the epicenter, and we all know at this point, Hogan was not the greatest in-ring competitor, couldn't work at all, but he put asses in seats. So while
He sold tickets, yep.
exactly, so while he was the person who did that, the matches that were really having everybody or big wrestling fans eyeballed were those people, and I feel like that's a very strong comparison to nowadays, where Cena is Hogan in that aspect, and we're I don't even say marking out, but for Ziggler, for Daniel Bryan, for Bray Wyatt, the undercard.
Right.
And it's almost and the way the person described it, I wish I saved it. It was extremely well accurate. I very much agree with that analysis.
In my opinion, like, I don't know if you have to have a top guy. Like, you can kind of get away with having multiple. Because, I mean, yeah, you did have, like, Austin in the 90s. You had HBK in the early 90s and Bret Hart. Then you had Hogan before that. And then, but kind of that early 2000s up, I mean, I guess it was Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I think you need a top 5. I agree with you.
You need a top 5, but I don't know if you need that guy who's above everybody else. I think that kind of it causes more problems than it helps.
I think it overshadows a lot of the guys that WWE's trying to put over, if you get what I mean. Like with the John Cena stuff, that's the reason Orton couldn't really get over in 2009, is because they kept forcing John Cena, Randy Orton down your throats, and you couldn't make Orton a legit star.
And here's the thing about the 80s is that every 2 years the main event scene would change. I mean, yeah, Hogan was on top, but when it started, it was Iron Sheik. Then it was King Kong Bundy. Then it was Andre the Giant. Then $1 Million Man. It kept changing every 2 years or so. But now we've had like Randy Orton on top for like the past 5 years, and Kane as well has been the guy who would come back and forth to the main event and into the mid card. So,
true. You're right that they would change the champion, but Hogan was still billed as the man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean. But you're right. WWE's done the same thing too with with Punk and Del Rio and other guys who are like integrated in the world WWE title picture. But Cena was still referred and revered even when he didn't have the title as the top guy, the man. And same goes with back then with Hogan. So yes, they did try to still, and they still do. They try to freshen it up a little bit by adding other people in the main event.
Right.
But even we can see it and say like, okay, there's a reason Cena's huge face is on the side of 3 of their production trucks. Stuff like that. On the box, Free Pebbles.
Yeah. You mentioned Del Rio though.
Like a bit hypocritical. I can't really say that word. Hypocritical. That WWE is like, oh, there's not one man that is bigger than the WWE, when in fact you've got Cena as the top guy, and like the number 2 guy would be way down.
Yeah, but I mean, if Cena retired tomorrow, they would, I mean, the wheel would, as Punk would say, the wheel's gonna keep turning.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if Cena were to retire tomorrow, they'd probably cut somebody a big check. I don't know who it'd be, but they'd try to cut somebody a big check, and then they could push Reigns up there, and they'd try to, or they could try to put Jericho in that spot for like a year or whatever. I mean, they have options, and I mean, no matter what, they're gonna keep rotating, and like Cena can go. Hulk Hogan went, and they nobody thought they'd survive that, and they did absolutely fine.
Well, yeah, but Hogan did, once he left, there was a gap, like till you had a top guy, Yokozuna, then Bret Hart, then Shawn Michaels. But
right.
Yeah, but WWE wasn't doing good business then. So if Cena leaves now, the wheels are going to keep on turning because WWE is a huge product. But at the same time, it's going to be really, really tough to bring in that top guy because it's not like what it once was in the 90s,
Right.
I mean, if you're going to push Reigns, you got to push him now. I mean, it's...
which is, I think, what they're trying to do. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
You got to pull the trigger right away.
They'd probably just bring Batista back and he'd be the top guy.
Oh, dude, no.
Yeah, let's fuck the main event up a little more.
Skinny jeans and all. But you mentioned Del Rio earlier, and who's excited for that amazing SmackDown main event? We've got Roman Reigns and Alberto Del Rio in a clash of the champions. As Michael Cole said, the reason that SmackDown's #1 on Friday nights. And
because people are coming in to tune in for Roman Reigns and Alberto Del Rio. Hell, you all know they were the highlights of that Money in the Bank match.
I'm so
Mexico's greatest import.
It's because nobody watches sci-fi.
Was the Juggernaut.
Yeah, SmackDown's become a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I think SmackDown should be a network exclusive.
I don't
Should
see
be like a Raw
SmackDown should be
recap
like
show.
developmental number 2.
It makes sci-fi money
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because
Probably
people
the only
actually tune in for it.
you get like a
Who
million.
would rather
they get,
watch
like,
Sharknado?
Yeah, they tune in for SmackDown. They stay for the Sharknado.
I watched a SmackDown. I took a hiatus from wrestling. Like I knew what was generally going on, but I didn't watch like the actual shows for like almost a year. And I watched one episode of SmackDown, and I took notes. And literally half, not even exaggerating, half of SmackDown was recapping what happened on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Half of the
matches,
show,
not just the
half
segment,
of one
but
show was recapping the other.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a good
That's
portion
all
of
it
main
is
event
now.
used to be until they tried to make that kind of a premiere show on the network.
Which I thought they've done a vastly increased improvement on that.
When main
It's
event
week to
started, it
week,
was
though.
awesome actually.
What was that?
When main event started, it was awesome. You know,
It was
they had
Superstar.
just one match, and they hyped it up like the entire night, and it was way better. It was just, it felt like an important show, way more important than SmackDown. That's for sure.
True. And then, of course, remember what happened with Superstars? I think Superstars, the very first match when they did WWE Superstars was, I could be way off, but I thought it was something like huge, like Undertaker versus... Well,
Matt Hardy.
yeah, it was Undertaker
Not
versus...
Superstars, yeah.
And... yeah.
But that was tough to get off, too, because that was on an exclusive network that only a certain amount of people could get.
Yeah.
True.
The Superstar
It was on the
still
Was it like
in America.
WG in America? Yeah.
Yeah.
There were only a
They
certain amount of
hyped-
people. I
they
couldn't
hyped
get
that
it.
show like crazy though. Remember, like the theme went like, it was like the pay-per-view theme that month also. What was it like?
It was Adelita's Way.
Yeah,
Very
Invincible.
Invincible, yeah, that was good.
It was a good theme. They shoved it down our throats though for a while, and then it got old.
Now they're using the Rock's theme from Royal Rumble. The one they used in his video package. The
Oh,
CFO.
Champion?
Oh, Champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. That best promo in like the last 10 years, hands down.
I
I'd
could see
go
it.
for the Bray Wyatt and Cena match though.
That
The-
one was
the
good too.
Vignette.
With the Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
I like the
All right.
Punk just because it was so interactive. Like I don't know, it was awesome.
Yeah. Remember that.
All right, let's move on to the Nikki Bella versus the Four Diva high handicap match thing.
Tit-
Oh
Sounds
yeah,
fair.
Captain Raw, I forgot.
Yeah, we were. Holy shit. No, but we had Stephanie McMahon. Basically, Nikki was hyping up this big surprise, and it turned out that Brie was sitting front row, and she played a critical part throughout the entire night. Stephanie McMahon came out and acknowledged it, and they kind of had a little mic war, if you get what I mean. And shots were fired pretty much. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
Of course, Nikki got her ass kicked by all
Did
four
you
of
see
the
the
bitches.
guy sitting right next to Brie Bella when she said bitch? He's like, so this is like somebody say bitch and I'll be the guy next to Brie Bella. Just somebody drop it.
Bitch. Yeah. And the Oscar goes to...
Oh my God, CM Punk's coming back. She said bitch.
She said the Attitude Era is coming back. It's
Oh, yeah.
official.
Cena's
It's
turning
official.
heel.
It's official. It's in the papers.
Wait, Plan C. C is the third letter of the alphabet. Punk held the belt three times. He's coming back.
You gotta carry the one. This equals Punk coming back.
So on the note of Punk coming back, did you guys see the video? Did you guys see the video of Punk getting interviewed at the award show? He was on the red carpet.
Yeah, I tweeted it out right towards the main event.
Yeah, I saw it right around that time also.
Said something like he never ever come back to a wrestling ring.
Never,
Yeah.
ever, ever,
Never,
ever,
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 ever.
Ever.
Everybody's gonna overreact to
Do
that.
the
but
same again.
I think that proves that he's gonna return.
I
I saw
think
him
he'll
in,
go to Ring of Honor just for like a couple of shows. I don't think he'll be back
He,
in WWE for a while.
I think he just might be done. I think AJ's making the money in the family, so
I think first off, he looked phenomenal. Like he looked
Yeah.
so
Oh
well.
yeah,
He,
very clean shaven,
he looked
very
well. That
awake.
he looked well rested. He
Eye
looked
bags
like
are gone.
he. I not seen him look that good since he left Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And he also posted a cryptic tweet. You guys might have seen this. That basically led to believe that he might do a podcast,
That'd be
Oh
awesome.
yeah, I heard about. I saw that.
which I
I
think would
think-
be huge.
You know how everybody's expecting a shoot interview?
That if he does a shoot interview with RF
I think
video,
it'll be on. I think it'll be on Colt Cabana's podcast. To be honest, it makes sense.
it would, and that would be. I think whoever does the shoot interview is going to be making a lot of money off of that.
Right, they would, and I don't think he'd want that to go to. I mean, like he has a lot of respect for Austin, and I'm sure he has a lot of respect for Jim Ross, but I mean, really, the Colt Cabana is like his best friend, so he's right beside him in Chicago, so it would make sense for him to say, "Hey, Colt, you want to make a lot of money? Let me get on your podcast, and I'll talk."
By the
to
way,
you."
Colt Cabana, one of the nicest guys. I don't know if you guys ever met him. Nicest guy on the face of the planet. Will literally do anything for you.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
That sounds very okay.
That sounds like him.
Anything.
Wink, wink.
Can
Yeah.
you plug my podcast? Just bend over.
But yeah, Stephanie basically beat the shit out of Brie, and then eventually that came out later on that Stephanie ended up getting arrested in one of the best segments of the year by far.
Mhm.
Kayfabe arrest.
This should have been on Battleground.
Yeah. I don't know.
Take away the Cameron Naomi thing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the Adam Rose Fandango thing. Save some fucking time on
Yeah,
that.
no,
The
if you do
best
that on
Give
the
people a reason to
match
tune
in
into the
Battleground history.
see, but it made sense to do it here, and then it was hilarious when Triple H was like, "Well, I mean, I guess she's gonna have to get processed, right?" You know?
I mean, the lawyers are there. We take time to fill out the paperwork.
Yeah, I should.
Don't
just
be in it. You know what?
say,
Yeah, she'll be fine.
You know what?
She's
I'm
women's
just-
champion. She's got.
she'll get out eventually. I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah. I think that the Stephanie Bella angle is one of the most well-written, well-drawn out women's angles that WWE has done in a very long time.
Mhm.
Very long.
Definitely the best
If it
Stephanie
comes to
storyline.
fruition, if it comes to be, I think it will. I fully expect it to, but we are dealing with WWE here, so
I don't know if the payoff's going to be worth it, but
LOL.
the way
Stephanie
they're just slowly building this up, piece by piece, I think they're doing a fantastic job of it.
The way it looks like they're going, it looks like they might go with the Nikki Bella heel turn on her sister.
Same thing.
At SummerSlam.
I think you do
Steph
Nikki,
versus
Stephanie.
Brie.
Or yeah, Bree Stephanie at SummerSlam, and then Nikki Bree at Night of Champions. Night of Champions is gonna be stacked. It's gonna be an unbelievable show because
Yeah, they've
they're
already
trying to get the network subscriptions. I think they've already booked what Brock's booked for the show.
well
Brock
not
will be booked, yeah.
not
And he'll
to
probably be fighting Cena again.
not to spoil anything, and this is the thing that shocked me the most was that, and I'm sure most of you guys already heard that. Obviously, Lesnar was, most people kind of knew that Lesnar was going to show up and be the Plan C, and we kind of all knew that. What I didn't know,
I thought it
Was
was Punk.
no, that's another hint later on.
Plan CM.
The
Thought it was Booker T.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Oh, you're not the only one.
The
Conspiracies out there.
Ducky. The at first it was like, okay, Lesnar versus Cena at SummerSlam. Okay, cool. Cena's gonna retain. Yeah, fucking another. But now there's been more stronger rumors the fact that Lesnar's actually gonna take the belt off of him
Oh, I see Lesnar taking. I've thought Lesnar is going to take the belt since WrestleMania. It just doesn't make sense to. The thing is, though, if Lesnar takes the belt, everybody's rumoring that he's going to hold it till Mania, and then Roman Reigns is going to win the Rumble, and Roman Reigns is going to beat Lesnar at WrestleMania. And seeing what I've seen from Roman Reigns, like we talked about earlier, I don't think he's ready to beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE's invested so much into this guy. I I don't feel like they're just going to be like, oh, wrong guy, scrap him. But I kind of think that's what they need to, maybe not scrap him, but maybe, all right, let's maybe tune down our expectations on this guy.
Oh man, we have to let go of Roman Reigns. Triple H is just Sin Cara all over again. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't like the way that I was thinking about it, but the way I was thinking about it was Brock taking the title off of Cena, and then Brock holding it until Daniel Bryan came back, and then have Daniel Bryan go over Brock at what, maybe some Survivor Series or something, set up
This
a
is what
rematch of the Rumble, and then set up Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns for the belt at Mania.
I say you just do, because I still want to see the Shield triple threat, so I say you do the, maybe somehow Roman Reigns gets back involved with the Dean Ambrose Rollins storyline, and Brock holds the belt till Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble and finally gets the Rumble win that we all thought he'd get this year. Then you've got Lesnar Bryan at WrestleMania, and I mean Bryan's proven that he can be the top guy. Like, I don't have any fear giving that top spot to Daniel Bryan because, like, he's proven he can handle waking up on 2 hours of sleep and going to sign autographs. Where, I mean, that's an important part.
I love Bryan. I'd love to put him back in that top spot. I would not mind him as the champion. All that fun stuff. And I don't know if it's just because I've been watching WWE way too fucking much. I don't see. Let me put it this way: I don't see WWE putting Daniel over on Lesnar. I don't think they would do that.
Right.
Because if you look at the two of them, you're right. Daniel Bryan has beaten big opponents, but with the way they've been they're basically making Brock Lesnar look like a god.
Yeah, pretty much.
Between beating Undertaker and then, in theory, beating John Cena, the 15-time, I hate saying that, world champion, and taking the belt off of him, I don't think they would put Bryan in that position to get over on him, because it's like, okay, Lesnar's beaten Triple H, Undertaker at WrestleMania, ending the greatest undefeated streak in professional wrestling history.
He didn't beat
CM
Triple
Punk
H.
last year too.
Yeah, that's right.
He never beat Triple H, and he lost to John Cena also.
Well, Lesnar beat Triple H.
No.
Yeah, Lesnar beat
WrestleMania?
Triple H at Extreme Rules.
Oh yeah, the rematch. True.
And SummerSlam.
He beat Punk too in the Best versus Beast match that was hyped up for so long.
That was match of the year, no doubt, bar none. Match of the year.
They built him up so high that obviously someone has to take him down. But it's got to
You
be.
see that guy being Roman Reigns though? Like, I hate interrupting you, but I'm just saying, like, I can't see it being Roman Reigns. Not this early.
That's
LOL.
no.
Cena wins.
Well, that's the thing. No, I don't want to do that all over again. So I could see them doing it to Reigns if they build Reigns the right way. Right now, I agree with you. I don't see that Reigns has the credibility, the in-ring, or the backup. No one has still provided me any sort of fucking explanation as to why Triple H put Roman Reigns in the title match at Battleground in the first place. He went from 1 week not wanting him to qualify, like, oh, by the way, you're getting a title shot.
Does that mean
it was
that
Vicky
there's going to be
Guerrero.
some sort of double turn at SummerSlam where Orton turns face and Reigns aligns himself with Triple H?
You know what's funny? I actually was talking about this with somebody, and I said, I think that Lesnar's going to win the belt. And they said that the Authority thinks they have him under their thumb. And then he starts kind of like doing his own thing, and then that's when the Authority either turns tweener or total face, or they ask Reigns to kind of assist, and that's when everything kind of culminates together. Do I think Reigns could be the one to topple Brock Lesnar right now? No. Give him, 6 months, maybe 7 or 8, and they utilize him the right way, build him up with the right people, put him in the right matches and the rivalries to get him over, yes.
Yeah.
I think he needs 2 years. After beating The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar needs to lose to a guy that it's been built up really, really
Mhm.
well. Not just a guy for 8 months.
True, but the only thing
Like
is that we don't know how long Lesnar's going to stay.
you've got
That's why I'm
Right,
hesitant on
but
putting the title on him.
I would be too, unless I got the guarantee.
he's contractually obligated for a certain amount of dates. I'm sure.
That's
Else
that's the
Vince
issue.
isn't gonna put the belt on him. If he's not, if he doesn't have a guarantee that Lesnar's just not gonna say, "Oh, screw it, I'm leaving." But did you hear the pop that Brock got when he came out? Like this guy's supposed to be like the biggest heel in the company, and he got one of the biggest face pops tonight that I've heard since Daniel Bryan left.
And the funny thing is, like everybody knew he was coming.
I still
Everybody
flipped
knew,
out.
and
Yeah,
they still popped just as loud.
yeah.
I think it's just because they hate Cena. I'm not sure if it's like a Brock Lesnar pop, like it was in 2012.
No, nothing will top that.
Yeah,
Nothing will top that.
Because no one saw it coming.
yeah,
Exactly.
And plus, it was after WrestleMania, so you know that crowd's just gonna pop for anything against Cena. So,
Very
right.
true.
True.
but I don't know. I think I agree with you about building Roman Reigns up for the next 6 months, but I don't know. Maybe it's because of the role that Brock has been on over the last few months, beating, like you said, beating Punk and Triple H, and well, he's gonna in theory beat Cena, beat Undertaker at Mania. I can't see anybody beating him. Anybody. I mean, Roman Reigns. I don't care how hard you push him.
Let me rephrase this. I agree with you that if, let's say, we take the time frame off the table. Let's say Lesnar is here whenever we say he's here.
Mhm.
If I was them, I would have Brock Lesnar. I would completely agree with you. I would Lesnar. If I was them, I would have Lesnar win the title and pretty much go undefeated for 2 straight years, more or less, maybe a little less, to basically WrestleMania 32, and build him up as an untouchable giant. All the while, you're building up, if not Reigns, someone else who they are looking to take Lesnar off that pedestal. And I hate referencing this, but it's basically what they did with Cena. They gave JBL the title, and for a year, JBL held that belt. He beat everybody. He beat Eddie. He beat Taker. He beat Booker, Shucky Ducky. He beat Kurt Angle. He beat Big Show. All the while, Cena's being built up as this credible, strong fighting U.S. champion. And then once the opportunity came, pulled the trigger, and the rest is history. I think if they follow that exact same philosophy, they'd do well. Do I think Reigns is ready for that in such a short amount of time? No, I think they're pulling the trigger fast because of what happened with Bryan. But if the timetable was off the car, if the time frame limitation was off the table, I completely agree with you. I would give it a nice, solid, long year and a half, 2 years.
Right.
Well, I like your idea that the Authority turns a bit tweener and like going for Reigns, to actually slay Brock Lesnar. But what if they use Seth Rollins to cash in onto Brock Lesnar? Like after a grueling match, like let's say Survivor Series or Elimination Chamber.
If they did, I think he'd fail. And
Honestly, I think Rollins is gonna lose the briefcase. I just, I don't see Rollins as. Rollins isn't the most. He's not even the most exciting guy in his own inner rivalry right now. I mean, everybody. Ambrose is. Whenever I see Rollins start on a promo, I feel like edgy because I don't know. Is he gonna mess the promo up? Is it gonna be solid? I don't know. Whenever Dean comes on the screen or whatever, though, I'm like, this is gonna be gold. This is gonna be a great promo. Whatever Dean does, it just turns to. It turns to gold, and he's proved it time and time again. And I'm kind of an Ambrose mark, but I just.
me too.
I don't think Rollins is I don't think he's ready yet. I think Ambrose is a lot more ready to make that jump than Rollins is, personally.
I agree that Seth Rollins is a bit awkward as a heel. He's a much better face, and when
Yeah.
it comes to mic skills. But I think he's in his edge phase. Remember in 2004 when he turned heel, and people didn't know how to react. And he was feuding with guys like Shawn Michaels, but people were booing him because of the guys he was facing, not because of the guys, because he was a heel. I think Seth Rollins needs to fight. He needs to wrestle guys that are, um, like really popular faces, like let's say Reigns, or just so that he can be booed and as well as be taken seriously. I just think that he's got this character that he needs to grow into. He still hasn't embraced it. I think it just needs that much more time for it to sink in. I think that Seth Rollins is going to be there one of those days, but it's just that he needs to have some sort of storyline to sink his teeth into. The Dean Ambrose thing, Dean Ambrose has been doing well in this storyline, but Seth Rollins he hasn't been delivering in this storyline. So he needs a better storyline, in my opinion. Because even if he wins, it's just not gonna matter because Dean Ambrose is the shiner in this storyline.
Right.
I
He
think
needs somebody weaker so he can be the star.
Yeah.
I think Rollins was going to be the overall better wrestler coming out of the Shield. I always kind of thought that. Now I'm leaning more towards Ambrose, but that's as for him being awkward as a heel. I don't see it more so awkward. I see it more so as a cold and calculating type of heel, of where he does want to get revenge on Ambrose for pretty. I don't even know exactly what for, other than turning on the brother and everything. But what I don't see though is with this long-term plan with the WWE World Title and Brock being back and all this stuff. I don't see the Money in the Bank contract even being relevant at this case.
Mhm.
All I think all it is right now is to keep wrestling fans on their toes to be like, if Brock does walk out of SummerSlam, oh shit, we all know he's not going to be here every week. Does this give the possibility of Seth Rollins cashing in, and then when the show ends, it's like, oh, Brock escaped with the belt. I think it's just basically to keep wrestling fans on their toes, and then maybe he'll try and cash it in, but he's like a year late or something like that. But other than that, I don't see the Money in the Bank contract playing any sort of role in the title picture.
But
Right.
what if he cashes in like after Elimination Chamber, and then we got to see the Shield triple threat at WrestleMania?
That's what a lot of people are thinking is gonna happen.
I
I
don't see them
mean, he's
taking the
not
title
gonna.
off of Brock that way.
I don't think that he's gonna have a long title reign. He's just gonna be a transitional champion. Both guys, Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins.
I don't. I think it's dumb to book Brock as a transitional. I mean, they've kind of booked themselves into a corner here with Brock Lesnar because he can win it and hold the title. He's a part timer. Everybody's gonna hate that. Or he can lose it to Cena, and nobody wants to see that. Let's pretend I didn't even say that because nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
If they were smart, I shouldn't say that because that sounds egotistical. If I were them, I would have the belt on Brock for a decent amount of time because if you think of it logically, he just came off of arguably the biggest win in not just his career, but obviously the biggest win in WrestleMania history.
Mhm.
Where do you go
Wrestling
from
history.
there? You go right to the top. You go to the title. And if you basically present it as, okay, this guy just ended a 2-decade-long dominating streak. How can he not win the title?
Yeah.
It's one of those weird. That's the way I think they look at it. And that's the way I look at it. Is if he just came off this huge win, what should stop him from winning the championship in this case? So, and also with Lesnar's credibility, not just in WWE but also outside of WWE, it also gives them more mainstream attention, or at least a little bit better mainstream attention. And look who just joined us! Hey!
What's
What up?
up?
How are you, bro?
Nothing much, man. Just see you guys doing a hangout. Figured I can join you guys,
Whoop!
The more the merrier.
Well, we were talking Raw, but now we keep going all over the place. So.
We're on like a wild tangent right now.
Like
Oh.
most podcasts.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We're all over
But
the place. I mean, we're talking about the Bree Stephanie thing, and then we were talking about Brock, and we're all over the place. So, what did you think about Raw? Just anything.
overall, I thought it was a balanced, enjoyable show. You know, let's be honest here. You think of Miami or Florida as a state as a whole. It's not really the best wrestling town, right? And the crowd, let's be honest, it popped for certain spots. I think the highlight of all of this was obviously Brock returning and Stephanie being arrested. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and for
Definitely.
me, I was trying to get trending on Twitter, hashtag fuck Flo-Rida.
I retweeted it.
And yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. You know, but I'm sure you guys want to talk about this. You know, the Flo-Rida performance, which was a failure.
Can we not? Can we not, please? For the love of God.
Okay,
I,
they've been trying to avoid this the entire show.
I mean, here's my thing, right? I get it. It's Miami, right? Florida, his hometown. Okay.
Wait, Flo
But
Rida's
this,
from Florida?
yeah, he's from, yeah, I think
He's
about
from
Florida.
Wisconsin.
It all makes
Maybe,
sense now.
I thought he was from Alaska. I thought he was from
I was
Alaska.
wrong.
So the shit is that, okay, so you bring him in, you have him perform like 3 songs that have been relevant like 4 years or 3 years, right? I
Mhm.
mean, to anyone who's listening to this live who is into hip hop music, is there anything that he has come out with that's on the radio that's, oh my god? No, there isn't.
No.
And the crowd did not give a shit. His hometown did not give a shit about this. That tells you something. And it's funny how WWE has been doing a lot of budget cuts, right? But yet they
Yeah.
bring in this guy to perform. I'm sure they spend a lot of money on this. I'm sure they have. And mind you, they're family friendly, right? WWE's family friendly, PG. You know, they try to attract the, I don't know, 8 to 17-year-old demographic, right? And yet they got a buffoon who talks about alcohol and drugs and all that on the show. Good job, WWE.
Twisted Tea.
I would have rather seen Vanilla Ice come out dressed in his 1990s attire with the stupid haircut and the MC Hammer pants performing Ice Ice Baby live on stage.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
And seeing
Yeah.
this,
I would have marked out.
I'd
I
have been
would-
completely down for that.
exactly.
This was
Absolutely.
better than Pitbull 2 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, I guess also, Roman Reigns, from what it looks like, they're going to have him face Orton at SummerSlam. That's the vibe I got. The whole brawl they had, almost, they had like a brawl, like they seemed that they were teasing it, and Orton did not want to get in the ring. People were saying, oh, Triple H Roman Reigns, right? A while back, SummerSlam. I even made a video on it. If
I
from
think
what it
it's going
looks
to
like,
be Ambrose and Triple H.
Yeah, it looks like they could be heading towards Orton and Kane because it looks like they've been imploding over the last few weeks.
They pretty heavily implied it in this show. Like
I'll
they,
say this too. I'll say this too on the pay-per-view, right? Let's say they would have had Seth Rollins cash in, right?
Mhm.
Could have still had, Dean Ambrose versus Rollins for the title, right? For the title match at SummerSlam. You still could have had Brock versus Cena. Still could have had that, right? Because either way, that's going to main event, regardless. That's main eventing, right? They don't want to have another Daniel Bryan, right? Like last year, they blamed Daniel Bryan for the buyer rates and all that. So of course you're gonna have John Cena in the main event. And you could have had Triple H versus Roman Reigns or Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns.
Do you
Right?
think it would have made any sense to have Brock fight Cena for really no reason after beating the streak?
That's
think-
what I'm saying.
I think the only would have made sense if obviously Cena has the title. Because obviously you think about this too, right? Even before Brock was gonna face Taker, right? Paul Heyman was implying, yes, now he wants to be the WWE Heavyweight Champion, right? Before the whole Taker thing, right? And if you think about it too, it only makes sense to see that. It does.
I was mentioning that earlier. It said when he just came off of arguably the biggest win, not just in his career, but possibly in the last God knows when, of beating
Possibly in
the
the
longest.
history of pro wrestling.
30 years of WrestleMania or something.
Where do you go?
You have no
Logic.
choice but to give. Yeah, you have no choice but to go for the title now.
Right,
You have no
exactly.
choice now. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to have him, let's say, go up against, I don't know, a Daniel Bryan. He has Bryan had the title, of course. Or I don't know. I think with Roman Reigns, yeah, it's gonna happen at WrestleMania. That's their main event.
Yep.
But see, it's funny. People are praising Roman Reigns right now, but I guarantee you, after his first or 2 title runs, you're all gonna learn to hate him, just like Cena was. And it's funny how it's funny because today Triple H took a jab at the IWC, which is true though. Let's be honest. How many of us here know people that say, "Oh, Cena wins. I'm done with wrestling. I'm done with this. I'm not gonna watch this anymore." But they tune into Raw to watch anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a perfect example. All right.
I'm guilty of doing it. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I've said it multiple times.
No. Bruce Blitz.
Oh God. Yes.
That guy.
Buckethead.
Oh, yo, fuck boy, yo, fuck boy, yo, fuck. Let's be honest here.
Hold on.
Hey, listen. Hey guys, this is for the VIP session, man. This is the VIP session, John Cena, I can't take Cena.
VIP special.
Yeah, I can't take more Cena. I can't take more of him. Like, dude, hop off this dick. When you talk shit about a wrestler for so long, secretly, you are on his dick. I get it. Yes, Bruce at one time was a pro wrestler, a bad one at that, who didn't have any success. And now he's taking out his whole thing on Cena. The guy, let's be honest, who is our modern day Hulk Hogan. At the end of the day, you say what you want about Cena, but the guy generates money.
Most honest, smart fans who tune in for the wrestling product and who dislike Cena, almost all of them respect Cena. Like, I don't like Cena, but I respect the hell out of John Cena because of what he does, and he's the face of a multi-million dollar. Yeah, he's a billion dollar.
Yeah. Oh,
corporation.
Well, they're not billions no more. Remember, they lost.
Right. Now they're millions. But I mean, he's the face of an organization
exactly.
that is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the entire world, and he's the face of it. He's the guy that it's on his back.
Absolutely.
I respect that guy so much. He gets probably 20 hours of sleep every 2 weeks. I mean, I respect the hell out of that guy.
Here's what I think too. It's a chain. It's a chain. I'll give you an example. When my brother came to America, right, when he was 8 years old from Peru, my parents, right, he got into wrestling because he didn't know any English, and that's his way to communicate with his friends. And the big guy at the time was Hulk Hogan, right? That was the star. I'm sure back in his day, Hogan got hated too. Let's be honest here, right? And then I got old enough, and the top guy was Stone Cold, right? I'm sure for all of us here, except Connor, because Connor probably is higher age. But the point is, though, the top guy was Stone Cold, and now the top guy is Cena. And I have a 9-year-old nephew who is a big Cena mark. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the guy generates money, whether you all like it or not.
I said it earlier. I can't remember who wrote it, but there was an article that was written out where they compared the way the WWE is presented in the 80s to now in terms of Cena being the moneymaker and the drawer and the people that put asses in seats. But the real wrestling fans, like us, were more gravitated toward guys like Savage, Steamboat, Rude, and the people in the Intercontinental level. Similar to how we...
Carnanic,
yeah, exactly. So the way we are with... Right. So...
2 points I want to make. When we're 20 years down the line, Cena's been retired for 10 years, and he comes back to Monday Night Raw, he's going to get Hulk Hogan-like reactions.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to happen.
Yep.
And,
absolutely.
You were talking about back older, the 80s, and this kind of just hit me. It just hit me out of nowhere, and I thought I'd bring it up. When Hulk Hogan was the champion, it was a lot like a part-time champion, like Brock Lesnar is going to be. And it worked back then. So for all the people that have been saying part-time champion won't work, Brock Lesnar can't hold the title, everybody had to pay to see Hogan wrestle. You're not going to get Hogan wrestling for free.
It's different because then the expectations were low. It wasn't a weekly show like Raw,
Exactly. Back in the day, Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But back in the day, you had Saturday night's main event. That was their prime time. That was prime time back in the day, or the wrestling challenge from the 80s. Now, which is obviously Raw, that's the prime time now.
You had
Pretty much.
Superstars on Saturday,
You know,
right?
you know,
Superstars on Saturday morning.
you know what's funny though? You know how the network, they have the early Saturday night main events, on the network now, right? From like 85.
85 through 87.
And I saw episode number 1, right, the other day. And it was obviously the Mother's Day special, right? The Mother's Day, fine. That was the theme of the show. And they had Hulk Hogan defending the WWE title, or the WWF World title, whatever you want to call it, against Cowboy Bob Orton, but that was the second match on the card. In the final match of that card, the final match was JYD versus some local jobber.
Huh.
Yeah, I said the same. Like, wait, it's crazy. Like, think about it. But think about it.
Look at that.
Yeah, and the match after that, the match after the Hogan match was Fabulous Moolah versus Wendy Richter for the WWE Women's title, whatever you want to call it now. It's amazing, now how things are almost,
Back in the
Also,
day.
the second one started off the show with Nikolai Volkov and Hogan. It started off the show with the title match, and I think the last match was, if I remember correctly, it was Andre, I think, in the main event.
Yeah.
Well,
So
back
how
in
about
the
that? Sorry. That was good. You go after. I go after. You go after.
I was gonna say back in the day, even before, like, it was kind of starting to change in the '80s. But back in the day, not only did you very rarely see the champion, but the fact that you saw the champion on TV was a huge deal. Let alone the title being defended. You would see maybe the world champion on TV maybe maybe twice every 2 months. Maybe even less than that. And then, like, if they were in a title match, holy shit, now it's a real big deal. And so the whole part-time champion thing, I think if they did it similar to that was, tonight on Raw, there was no Cena. The champion wasn't even there. Was it still an entertaining and pretty decent Raw? Overall, I thought so. So, why, I don't see why it couldn't work in modern day if you promote it and market it the right way.
Exactly.
A lot of people are comparing it to The Rock, and this is, as much as people want to compare, this is a completely different situation because when The Rock came back, he was glorified movie star. Like, nobody was like, oh, The Rock can kick anybody's. Everybody is thinking, everybody knows that Brock Lesnar can legitimately beat anybody in that locker room in a real fight. And like when people say Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker streak, nobody's like, oh, that couldn't happen, because everybody realizes that is the realest guy you can have take the streak, because he could do it in real life.
Exactly.
So everybody respects Brock Lesnar as just the baddest man in the entire company, and it's completely different than The Rock. The Rock had none of that. The Rock was the part-time movie star coming back to take the guy who'd... Punk was the champion at the time. Again, completely different scenario. Now you've got Cena, but then Punk was the champion, and Punk won that title every night. Every night, Punk showed that he was the only man that could be the champion. And then you have Rock come in and take it away. This is nothing like that. You can't compare those two situations, because it's completely different.
Well, it's not that The Rock wasn't legitimate. It's that Brock is just more legitimate. That's all.
Brock's more legitimate, exactly. And then also, you don't have a guy like Punk as the champion right now. You've got John Cena.
Yep. I mean, the other thing too, I find it crazy. Like back then, when Punk lost the title, right? People were making it seem like it was the fucking end of the world. I remember.
I was one of them, I have to admit.
No, like people need to understand. Like, yo, Punk had the best title runs in the last 20 years.
Was he sixth longest?
Yeah, I think he was. But think about it. Maybe any guy that had that title run like that long, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
that was entertaining TV though. Every week.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was waiting for him to beat Bruno's, but
You
At the end of the day,
you tuned in to see Punk, and you never went home like, God, that show sucked. Like, it was always like, if you got to see Punk, you were satisfied.
exactly. I
Well,
mean,
in my opinion, around SummerSlam and Night of Champions, it was getting stale. Like during the Ryback feud and stuff like that. It was kind of getting stale.
I guess a little bit it was a little bit. I mean, the Hell in a Cell match really wouldn't have done that. especially
Mhm.
them two, or especially Ryback, because to me Ryback wasn't ready, and he proved my
Yeah.
point. He proved that this guy's not ready yet. But that's that. But again, what we're talking about again? Yeah. So how about the how about that Miz versus Ziggler match tonight? Shit,
Ooh,
uh,
how about the
surprised the hell out
Miz's
of me in
Yeah.
both
entrance?
ways.
probably the best match of the night. Probably the best match of the
I'm
night.
I'm completely for it. People are gonna hate me for this. I'm completely for the Miz as champion. I'm
Same
completely
here.
for it
Yeah.
I
because
guess.
Oh,
here's
I am
what
too.
here's
I'm
what
on it.
he can legitimize the title, and
Problem with that though.
it makes complete sense though
The
because he's a former
problem.
WWE champion as much as we hate it, and he's
The
gonna
pro.
bring legitimacy to the title, and we're not worrying like, oh, he's
The,
a main event
the
guy because
problem. All
nobody
right.
sees him as a main eventer.
I could believe you in that if this was his first run as the IC champion. But you got to remember, he's like what already a 2-time now,
3.
or 3-time. And
Three, I think.
the last one that I can remember, I was there WrestleMania 29 when he beat Wade Barrett, and the next day he lost the title to Wade Barrett. So in a way, I could see where you're coming with that, but the same, it's really hard for me to really believe it. I mean,
Well,
I'm
what I
sure,
love
yeah,
right now is
I'm sure.
about the Intercontinental title. It's actually rejuvenating careers. I mean, you look at Wade Barrett. He won the title like many a times before, but now that he had before his injury, he actually was doing a lot with it. And Miz having the title now actually rejuvenated his career, especially with this new character that he has right now. I mean, this Raw, he actually looked different because when he came back, the only difference was he had sunglasses. I mean, that's like a
I mean,
heel trait,
I mean,
that
but
you gotta wear sunglasses if you're a heel.
then
Reminds me
again,
of
though,
WCW back in
isn't
the day.
isn't Tyler Breeze doing the same thing on NXT though? The
More or
whole
less, yeah.
the whole protect my face and all that.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
like,
Tyler actually dropped that, but Miz actually has a reason for that, and that he's a movie star, quote unquote.
Right.
Tyler Breeze is just, oh, he just likes himself. I don't know.
pretty much, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel you on that.
I feel like the gimmick's getting more and more over the belt.
Yeah, but again, I don't mind seeing Ziggler and Miz feud for the title. That so be it. Made that a match for SummerSlam.
I
Right.
think we're gonna get Sheamus Miz at SummerSlam though. To be
I
honest.
I I refuse to.
Clarification.
I
Sheamus
refuse to
Rusev.
believe that. I
I
refuse to
think
believe that.
I
I
think it's gonna be
refuse.
Sheamus Rusev at SummerSlam
I
for
don't mind that.
for the S title.
Have Rusev be the have Rusev be
Oh,
the U.S.
Ultimate
champion.
Heat, yeah.
Yeah.
Rusev gets
Anything's
heat.
better than
Did,
Rusev Kali.
did you guys hear? I'm sure you guys heard about this already. The whole
Yeah.
reports of apparently the whole people being not bitching but being upset about the reference of last night on the pay per view of the MH117
I
play.
kind of like, you can't be surprised.
Here's my thing with this. All right. Number one, I get it. So people that are upset are not wrestling fans and they don't know what cheap heat means. You know what I mean? And I can see why they're upset. I just wish, in some way, shape, or form, WWE would have handled it differently. Let her let them just do their regular promo, in the ring, but just don't mention Vladimir Putin.
Mhm.
Just let this be about USA versus Russia, pretty much.
But this has been like WWE's MO for the past 30 years. I
Yeah, it
mean,
has.
remember the Gulf War?
Oh yeah. Was it Muhammad Hassan?
Yep.
No, the
Uh,
one with Sergeant Slaughter and Hogan.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
god.
don't know.
Oh
Whoa.
god. Oh
Could wear both
god.
for best of the ring,
Yeah,
but you can't. That's one of those things you can't be surprised. And you're right. And I think WWE kind of half does it on purpose. I mean, I think they more do it on purpose, but I think they also generate
attention.
exactly. I blanked
Yeah.
out for that for some reason. So like, oh wow, look at what WWE did, blah blah blah, blah and then
Boom! It comes back to bite them in the ass.
yeah,
Pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, when I heard this, I'm like, all right, here's two things, right? Here's Muhammad Hassan all over again, or number two. You guys remember, like, was it last year when they had that whole Glenn Beck, Zeb Coulter Swagger thing, and they recorded a video. I think it was backstage, and it was Swagger and Coulter, and then the scene ended, and they broke kayfabe. They had the green screen behind them, and they literally like,
yep.
oh, My name is Jake Hager, and I'm, I thought they were gonna do that almost. You know what I'm saying with Lana and Rusev, have Lana come out, break her accent, talking her regular, English accent, because obviously she's not really Russian, right? And then have whoever Rusev's from, he looks Samoan. I'd be surprised if he is Samoan, you know. And
And
say
the next time we see him, he has his face painted. He's like the new Umaga.
my name is Sonny Sai. Mahalo, brother. Mahalo, home. Some shit like that, But damn, that Flo-Rida song sucked today. Damn it, damn it.
No, did you notice when Flo-Rida first came down, or he was kind of first making his way? The first two people he shakes hands with, Big E and Kofi, and then he turned around and he shook hands with Dolph. But when he just immediately shook hands with Big E and Kofi, I was like, oh, racist WWE.
I was more keeping my eyes on when he hugged Emma because I didn't want to make sure I didn't pickpocket him or anything.
Or me too.
This just in, she stole his iPad.
Hide your iPad cases. The case, not the iPad. She stole the case.
Just the case.
He stole his new songs. That's the reason why he was singing his old ones.
I'll say this, right?
Paige's jacket in NXT.
I'll say this, yo. Whenever there's a meet and greet for Emma, just bring your iPad case. Yo, can you sign my case, please? Can you sign my Walmart receipt? It's funny, right? I was talking with one of my friends named Jeff, right? And we were discussing this because I'm sure you guys heard about this debate a while back between was it Jim Cornette and Kenny Bolin, the great debate. I'm sure you guys heard of it, right?
I'm familiar with it.
During that debate, they said that Kenny Bolin back in the day used to cheat from cheat the system from a grocery store with pork tenderloins, whatever. And he would cut one portion because apparently you could take it back and get double your money, right? Refund it, right? Double your money. And he would take one portion of the pork tenderloin to a store and get double his money, and then take the other part to a different store and get double his money. He would cheat the system and shit. So I was like, maybe one day, if Jim Cornette and Kenny Bolin ever do a Russell Con, whatever it may be, right, have them sign my receipt or pork tenderloin and shit from the supermarket.
That's awesome.
That could work. That could work, obviously,
There you go.
Yeah. Wrestling as we speak right now.
On Raw?
Well, they had Jericho get his ass beat on the app, which I thought was stupid.
Swagger, or not? Bray Wyatt cut a spectacular promo.
Yeah, he did.
Promoting Who really cares about the Jericho and Bray Wyatt feud?
I'm in.
I mean, I'll say this: so people think right off the bat that Jericho buried Wyatt. People fail to realize one thing. This is not one of those one-match thing and it's over with. It's going to continue. I guarantee you, they're going to have probably two more matches: SummerSlam and Night of Champions.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt Bray's going to have to win these next two matches.
And the thing is Jericho came back specifically to put Bray Wyatt over. That's the only reason he came back. After he saw what Cena did to Wyatt, he called Vince and said, "Hey, I'm ready to come back. I'm going to put this kid over."
I think he mentioned in his podcast that he said he wanted to come back to specifically work a program with one of three people, and one of them is Bray. I could be wrong, but I think he did mention it in one of his podcasts. He was looking to specifically put guys over, one of them being Bray.
Absolutely.
So that's the reason he's back. And if you guys saw the match last night, everybody's jumping and I got a ton of tweets tonight about hey, why are you into the Bray Wyatt Jericho thing? The match sucked last night. They have no chemistry. Well, about halfway through the match, Bray Wyatt got his bell rung when Jericho tried to roll him up and he smacked his head on the ring post.
I'll tell you why.
I thought that was intentional, though.
I'll tell you why people are probably assuming that, right? Because obviously this isn't the first time they've gone at it. This is, the second time. The first time was on NXT. I think it was last year, right? On NXT, whatever. Mm-hmm. And obviously, for those of you who don't know, on NXT, they let you go balls to the wall, obviously. NXT, their match from NXT is better than the match at Battleground. And that's because on NXT, there's no Vince McMahon or Kevin Dunn influence. You know what I mean? It's all Triple H. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when they come to the main roster, This is why sometimes I hope they don't come to the main roster. As crazy as they may sound, like guys like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, who else? Guys that are coming up real soon to the main roster. Tyler
Ascension.
Breeze, the Ascension. I hope they don't come. I hope they don't.
I
Because
love the Ascension so much.
oh, don't we all? You know, they're gonna come. They're gonna ascend to the main roster and take the titles from the Usos. No pun intended. But the thing is, though, once they come to the main roster, though, they're gonna get so watered down. Like people bitch. Here's what gets to me, right? When you hear about wrestlers signed to WWE, like Kevin Steen, you know, Kenta, Prince Devitt, right, coming to WWE, you always see different story. Oh, you're gonna go to NXT and get watered down for 2 to 4 years, but if they go to TNA, you know, and mind you, I watch TNA, but but if they go to TNA, they'll be on TV right away, and this and that. People gotta understand. Everyone goes through NXT. Doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, all right, because they want you to learn that style. And with the network now having NXT, there's an exposure. You get what I mean? And
Absolutely.
reality is, if people who watch NXT would know this, they let you go all out like you would have done in the Indies. The problem is once you come to the main roster, that's where you get watered down, pretty
Do you
much.
think that the crowd in NXT is too lukewarm towards the characters? Because you look at a guy like Adam Rose, who was really, really over in NXT, and once he went to Raw, people are like, okay, who's this guy?
The problem with that is the fact that number one, the casual fans, casual as in, you know, mommy's taking little Jimmy or, you know, little Timothy, you know, to a wrestling show, and little Jimmy or Timothy, let's say, I'm just giving a name as an example, is age, I don't know, 7 or 6 or 8, right? And all they know is just Raw and SmackDown. They don't know what the fuck NXT is or what the fuck is, you know, the WWE Network, even though they hear it on commercials, I'm assuming. So
Michael Cole tells them like 40 times a night.
exactly, and it's a total different demographic. Like the people on NXT, it's Full Sail University. It's a college campus full of college students. You know what I'm saying? That you would assume are, you know, smart mark fans, if you will, right?
It's like the ECW crowd in a way.
And yeah, I guess, but you know, more
Different
polite.
demographic, bottom line.
But it's
Yeah, different
sometimes they're
demographic.
too inviting. Like you see a guy like Sheamus on NXT, and they would just go nuts for him. And you know, it's I don't know. Maybe it is a maybe it is a full sale thing to just cheer for the WWE guys whenever they appear.
And you think
But
about
at
it
the same
too.
time,
They can relate to Adam Rose in a way. Think about it. Adam Rose loves to party, and it's college. You know, college kids love to party, right? You know, get turned up and, you know, all that. You know,
Mhm.
Very true.
Gotcha.
But how come it didn't work in like the bigger arenas?
because number one, you bring them up from the main roster and you set them up for failure. That's why they were set up for failure. Let's be honest here. Adam Rose, and I hate to really say this, he is more of a product spotter, as in he's just there to promote products like Sonic or whatever's they're gonna promote next. That's the
Santana,
bottom.
the Sonic guy.
That's the bottom line here.
Well, it doesn't help Santino kind of went
Yeah,
down. So
pretty much. Yeah. At
But
the end,
then, but then
also,
you've got a guy like Bo Dallas who comes up and
Yeah.
he's
I say
pretty over right now.
I'll say this right now. Here's what I would have had preferred. Have him come up not as Adam Rose, but as Leo Kruger. Not the Leo Kruger from NXT who is bounty hunter, you know, from Africa. No, but the one from FCW who was the FCW champion. That's the Leo Kruger would have brought to the main roster.
He's got a
I think
great look. He has a
he does
fantastic look.
exactly, but it's a shame that the problem also is that on developmental, again, you don't have Vince McMahon or Kevin Dunn breathing down your necks. You don't have that. So
Right.
again, what Triple H sees in a wrestler is totally different from what Vince McMahon sees.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? This is like the WWE now is Vince McMahon owned, but Triple H operated. That's what it's become now, in a way. It's like Ring of Honor. It's, you know, in my eyes, you know, well, David Richards' eyes back in the day, he even said on a shoot interview, In his eyes, it'll always be Kerry owned, Gabe operate, even though Gabe is no longer there.
Right.
You know. So, yeah.
Well, you want to start closing up this broadcast here? We're pretty much all over the place anyway.
Yeah,
I think we've talked about every part of Raw.
We've covered the IC. We've covered Flo-Rida. Ugh.
Covered more Flo-Rida.
Bo Dallas.
Oh yeah,
gets
we
another
forgot about the
win.
Page heel turn.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was amazing. I thought in the
It
sense
was well
of
put together. Yeah.
I thought
I
in the
was
sense
surprised. I was surprised they did it so quick. I thought they would wait another week.
I thought
Yeah,
in the sense
I
of
thought they would wait about 2 weeks or so.
I think this is gonna take this. I think this will take this feud to the next level in the sense of okay, SummerSlam you can have them have a gimmick match like a no DQ match, or a no holds bar match like Survivor Series '02 when Victoria faced Trish. Let them go out with weapons and all that.
They
A friend
was
of mine
reading-
actually
I was
said
reading-
that it should be a cage match.
I doubt they'll do a cage match.
No.
Absolutely not.
I
But
think
it
that
would be cool though.
Vince McMahon bringing a cage for divas? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
Lita
he's done it
Trish.
before back in '04 with Lita and Victoria.
as
That
far
was
as I
Lita.
know, though, that's I think one of the only. I think they've only done.
That was when Lita was
Two
like
women
one of the
tag
most
matches?
over people on the entire roster.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I
this
think
is-
that Steven's right that they could drag this out as long as they. I'd say maybe Survivor Series at the absolute longest, because then you've essentially got a feud from Mania until Survivor Series. But I definitely see them doing the rematch at SummerSlam and then maybe doing a gimmick match at Night of Champions.
You can mix it up as well, triple threat matches and fatal four ways.
Depends on against who though. I mean, who would you put though? I mean,
Maybe
you look,
Naomi.
let's look at the current roster right now.
Naomi. Maybe.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, you would have Naomi, Natalia, but again, in their eyes, it would be let's put in Cameron and Alicia Fox or Cameron and Eva Marie. In their eyes, again, in the eyes of Vince McMahon, and yeah, that too. I heard that Eva Marie, she pretty much had half the locker room. She's about to surpass Missy Hyatt's record, from what I heard. But
Wow.
Ooh.
Great time to be a WWE superstar.
word,
Damn.
Where's
Kelly
Batista?
Kelly must have her
what happened?
for.
What happened? Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say
So where's Batista?
word. Batista.
How
Yeah.
big's- How big?
Oh, I remember that. I gotta ask her.
No, I was reading on Twitter though that some people were saying that they can compare this and they can draw parallels to maybe make this into like a modern day Trish Lita.
It could be if it's booked correctly.
I don't think there's the wrestling talent though. I mean, Paige is. I've said this on my channel a lot. Paige is green right now.
I have to strongly
very
disagree.
green.
I strongly disagree with you on that.
You got to watch her stuff in NXT.
You have to no.
I mean,
No. You have to watch your stuff on the indies. You got to remember one thing. Paige has been doing this ever since she came out of her mom's womb. Flat out, yes. She's been doing this since fresh out the womb, bro. I seen some of her matches in England where she wrestled her mom. So personally, I think out of the two, I think Paige is the better wrestler. Let's put it this way: if this was a fight, like a real,
Yeah.
backlash fight, whatever, Paige will run circles through her.
right.
But the problem
also,
is,
AJ is
prob-
like 5'5".
yeah, that too. But the problem also is the fact that yes, you say she's green because that is what WWE wants to imply. But yes, this woman is green, and again, it's not that her ability; it's the fact that who you put her up against. You put her up against Oksana, Alicia Fox, and literally all her matches when she was champion was a 5 minute and a half match where for the 5 minutes she was getting her ass beat. In the final 30 seconds, her making her come back and winning.
See, and that's what's led me to see her as a green, like more green in the ring. And like when I say she's green, I mean a lot of things. Like she's on the microphone. She's not the best, but I'm not knocking her for this. She's 21 years old. She's one of the youngest talents on the roster. But then, like, also when it comes to selling, you can tell that she's not as advanced as some of the better divas on the roster. I mean,
Sometimes it's one of those weird. Sorry,
like when like you said, she'd get beat up for 5 minutes, and in 30 seconds she'd make her comeback. But most of that 5 minutes consisted of her no selling a lot of moves, and then coming back, and she'd walk out and skip out of the arena like nothing happened. And I mean, when you have experience, you know, like, okay, I just got my ass beat for 5 minutes. I'm gonna sell this all the way to the curtain, like, and she just doesn't do that.
And also the fact that they placed, like, let's be honest here too, they would place her matches on pay-per-view, like, literally after a big match, and there's no crowd reaction. I'll give you a perfect example. Extreme Rules. I was there at the Izod Center when it happened. After the Cena and Wyatt in the cage match, they had Paige and Tamina Snuka. And no one gave a flying fuck because, again, the crowd was dead.
Right.
The crowd was dead. There were people chanting Fandango chants, you know, just doing the regular shtick, you know what I mean? And, again, oh, I can't stand that, yo. To me, the guy's a quitter. I'm sorry.
The other thing, too, is, and
Best quitter, the best quitter in the world, BQITW.
the other thing, too, that to take into consideration, too, I'm not saying that I'm taking this away from her, I think it's her fault, but not only that, where they're placed on the card, time constraints, and they literally, and I've seen shoot interviews from other people who used to work at WWE, they micromanage everything about a match, extremely. So whether her selling ability, that might be kind of a fuzzy gray area, but there are certain aspects of the match where you know it's not necessarily their fault. I'm sure, Steven, you've been to many house shows, right?
I've gone to just pay-per-view shows. I haven't really gone to a house show in a long time.
If you ever go to a house, if you ever get a chance to go to a house show, go. The house shows are always better than the pay-per-views or the TV shows because they're a lot more flex space. They don't micromanage things like time constraints as much. They have the time to sit there and tell the good story and actually put on a very solid wrestling match, even the people you don't think are that good. Years ago, I went to a house show, I think like about 30 miles away from here, and it was around 2005, and it had it was random matches, but they had some of the best in-ring matches I've still ever seen. One of the matches was like Carlito against Kurt Angle. It was a really random match, but it was phenomenal. And it's because they gave them it went for about 20-25 minutes. It was a mid-card match between the two of them, and it was one of the greatest matches I've seen in person because they gave them the time, the freedom, and the flex place to do that. So when you see something on TV or on pay-per-view, kind of alluding back to your NXT thing, Steven, is they have so many people controlling every little nitpicking thing about a match. When to do this, when to do that. And I think Al Snow said it once in his interview that sometimes the wrestlers are going out there and they're so nervous because they have to remember so many things to do in their match. They either mess it up or they'll do this and that. So they literally have to, it's extremely a high-pressure situation. So sometimes those factors aren't necessarily their fault. It's who's breathing down their necks.
Pretty much, yeah, that too.
Right.
So.
Is there anything else from Raw we haven't talked about?
Let's see.
I don't know. Any other wrestling topics? I don't know. All you hear about
the Nation, the new Nation.
Word.
Yeah.
All we need now is Mark Henry. Bring back Mark Henry.
Oh, I didn't even think about Mark Henry.
Bring in Mark Henry. Bring back Teddy Long to be the mouthpiece, and bring in Heath Slater.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
We were talking about the Teddy Long mouthpiece thing actually right before we got on.
Let him be the mouthpiece. You know.
Bring in like every black guy in WWE history. Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, and all those guys.
Oh, they're probably come on. They're probably in a retirement home right now. They're probably in the retirement home.
You know what though? You bring in Mark Henry, and you have Xavier Woods, you have Kofi, you have Big E, and then just literally like maybe once a month or even at the pay-per-views, all of a sudden they're cutting a very long, lengthy promo, and then around the corner you just see, damn.
Word. No, you also bring in Teddy Long. Let me holla at your players. Holla, holla, holla. Main event tonight will be a tag team. Oh, I can't imagine no more.
Why do I have a feeling that Teddy Long is going to go to TNA and book tag team matches there?
I doubt that. I mean, I'll say this because I've gone to the TNA. I've gone to the TNA tables in New York. It's getting better.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who watch TNA right now, I'm sure that those who don't, that love to just bash it because it's a cool thing to do.
I purposely did not watch TNA because I was slowly coming back and doing the kayfabe shtick and everything like that, and so I actually sat down to take the time to sit and watch TNA beginning to end. I watched the Impact before the New York tapings, and just from top to bottom, production-wise, story-wise, and specifically the one thing we're all fucking watching in the first place is the matches. I thought was a better overall product than WWE in terms of the way they presented it.
Here's what. Now, I don't want to start talking a lot about TNA.
Why not?
This is a WWE show.
Who cares? I mean, Perry, would you mind? I know
we've talked about so much crap already. Go for it.
That's why. Let's just go for it. Fuck you. Just shoot
Let's
the
talk
shit.
about movies after that. Who cares?
It's not even a Raw review anymore. It's just whatever. Talk whatever.
I find it so much easier to watch a 2-hour episode of Impact than to watch a 2-hour episode of SmackDown or a 3-hour episode of Raw. With Impact, the commercial goes off, and I get that feeling where, I can't wait for it to get back. I want to see how this progresses. And whenever the episode ends, I get the feeling, I want to see next week's episode. I wish it was here. With all good TV shows, I don't know if any of you guys are Breaking Bad fans or anything like that, but you'd watch an episode, and then after that episode would go off, they're like, all right, next week, and you're just like, damn, I gotta wait a whole entire week. And I used to feel that way about Raw, and I used to feel that way about WWE, and I'm kind of starting to feel that way about TNA, where it's exciting enough, and when it goes off, I want more, and that's what
I'll agree with you that too. For me too. For me, it's even when I make review videos on my channel,
exactly.
I find it difficult for me to review a Raw review because obviously Raw is 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like it's a drag to make. I've seen some people's Raw reviews. They go 10 minutes, 12 minutes, fine, or 20. There's people actually that gone 45 minutes. They're by themselves, right? Just beyond me. But for me,
it's short version.
But for me, it's hard because to me, I feel like once I've gone 10 minutes, I'm already dragging. Fuck, just try to wrap this shit quick as fuck, right? Get over it. It's more easy for me to review Impact because again, it's 2 hours. And think about it, a TNA script is 3 matches with 2 segments in between, or 4 matches with 3 segments in between. It's easy as fuck.
All of the segments lead towards the storylines. You don't get any segments that are just sitting there and I'm gonna come out and talk about nothing for 20 minutes. It's every segment progresses a storyline. And
exactly.
This is the reason why I'm loving Kurt Angle as GM right now, or director of operations, is that it's quick segments. He just says 2 things, this guy against this guy, and then on to the match. But before that, with MVP, you had long segments. With Dixie, you had long segments. And I remember last time I saw Impact, before the New York tapings was a month ago. And I remember Robert Roode and Eric Young had a long promo where it was going on and on and on and on. It just it's been 20 minutes and he's been talking about his entire career. When's this gonna end? But now it is getting definitely a lot better. So I'm really hoping that Raw would, WWE would go back to the brand split so that it can go back to where, what's going to happen on the next Raw, and with SmackDown, it's what's going to happen on the next SmackDown. There would be 2 different, shows where you'd get, 2 different products rather than a whole product and a recap show.
Absolutely, right. I agree with that too.
Back in 2005, 2006, 2007, SmackDown was can't miss TV just as much as
oh hell yeah,
just as much as Raw was. And every time they had SmackDown, they didn't talk about Raw. They didn't touch Raw storylines. You wanted to watch the Raw storyline, you gotta watch Raw. You wanted to watch SmackDown, you had to watch SmackDown. And I'm over here saying, oh my god, what's Batista gonna do? And then you come back over here and you're like, what's Shawn Michaels gonna do? What's John Cena gonna do? Every week you were waiting for the next show. And after about 2011, I haven't felt that. I haven't felt that feeling when watching Raw.
Yeah. So what do you think, Zeb Coulter?
You talking about my newly found mustache?
Oh yeah.
I think again, TNA, is doing. There's some improvement. There is some improvement there.
Hmm.
And again,
And
that
they're
they're
trying to get a
now.
TV deal.
Yeah, I think they are. They're gonna happen. I mean, come on, Spike TV. Their highest rated show is TNA. Is there any other show on Spike TV that's worth
Right.
oh my god, you know what I mean? Like Bellator. As an MMA fan, for me, Bellator has become more like a show, a promotion for the UFC rejects, pretty much.
Hmm.
And I think overall,
Didn't they lose the Ultimate Fighter?
what Spike TV?
Yeah, didn't they lose that?
No. What happened was the UFC went to Fox,
Right. Okay.
and they obviously know the UFC owns the Ultimate Fighter and all that, so yeah, they
Took
took
it
all
with
that
them.
to
Yeah.
Fox. And now the Ultimate Fighter's on FX, or I think on UFC. No, I think on Fox Sports One, wherever it is. But with TNA right now, again, I see good things happening. Uh, Most likely, you'll be seeing me at the New York tapings. I'm sitting like in the fifth row. I got this big ass green sign and shit.
Oh yeah, you were telling me. I'm gonna keep my eye out for that.
I'm like, yeah, you'll see a guy with a big ass green sign, Aries for world champion or world title, some shit like that. I
I'll
had.
watch it. I'll look
I'll
at
screen capture it.
I'll watch this for you.
Hey, he's a fat guy. Heel Steve, look at that. He's a fat kid.
Hey, I just had him on my show the other day.
I mean, but again, I mean, it was cool. The experience there is live. I mean, you're gonna get the big payoff, obviously. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'm sure you guys heard about it already.
She actually broke. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She actually broke several bones in her back, and now they're probably not going to be able to show it on Spike TV because there is a clause in the contract between Spike and TNA that prohibits violence against women.
I don't know.
She
I don't know.
possibly broke bones in her back for
I-
no reason.
I don't know, but it's funny though, right? Because I was there and they sold out the venue. They sold out the venue, right? They sold out the venue for all three nights, right?
Yar.
But yet you don't see these websites mentioning that, the positivity of it. Yeah, like I'll give you a perfect example.
Right.
NoIQ.com,
Right.
Anal Rift.
Hmm.
Who's let's be honest, his site is just pro WWE.
Yep.
And their job is to literally just kiss Vince McMahon's ass, pretty much. And obviously he also enjoys bashing TNA, bashing the fuck out of it.
One of the reasons actually I stopped writing for them.
Exactly. I mean, again, I even told you, like, you're my boy no matter what, but do what you gotta do. You feel me? But again, the guy obviously, Aaron Rift, Anal Rift, is not a wrestling fan. He's literally trying so hard to suck the WWE's cock. I'll give another example. There's another YouTuber here in this community. I'm sure you guys heard who he is. He looks like Ed Goodberger, and apparently, he got axed by WWE for making Smash videos.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. I ain't gonna say no name here now. Unless you want me to say the guy's name, but I'm not. But again,
He has an X in the middle.
Does
Oh,
it,
yeah.
does it start with a D?
yes, he's like.
Ends with
Looks
an
like
N.
He looks like he's 15 or 16 or whatever the fuck it is. He tries to I don't hate the kid. I don't hate him. I just feel like the guy's trying to kiss ass too much. That's the
Hey,
problem.
I'll admit, if I was in his place, I would do the same.
I wouldn't.
Working for WWE.
I wouldn't. I'll be true to myself. You feel me?
The problem is it's become cool to bash TNA, and
Yeah.
so many. I've experienced this with my channel. So many people are like, no, never giving TNA a chance. I'll watch anything except TNA.
Exactly.
You watch TNA, and there's about 8 out of 10 chance that you're gonna get hooked on TNA.
Exactly. The thing with TNA is it's an alternative. Yes, I wish they could bring in more talent, more younger talent. Look at the independent scene right now. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Right now, you got a guy like Johnny Gargano, Rich Swann. You have Brian Cage, Michael
Chuck
Elgin,
H.
Chuck Taylor, ACH.
God, don't get me started on Elgin. Ugh.
Yeah, not Michael Elgin.
No.
The guy can go.
I didn't
Listen,
like,
I was
I
at,
didn't
I
like
was
him
at
at
best
first.
in the world.
I won't.
I was impressed with his match with Cole.
Yeah,
The thing
I
with
was so
very
disappointed when I realized, because when they shaved his head to get the cheap heat on Cole, I knew that they were repackaging him for a championship run, And
I mean,
as soon as I realized that, I was just,
to me, I think the guy's talented. I think he's talented in the ring. You know, if I'll give you an example to watch. If you guys, I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's him and Davey from like 2012 Showdown Under the Sun Night 1, I think it was. No, it was Night 2. It was him and Davey for the title. That match is balls to the wall. That's the match people are saying, oh, Davey should have won that match. I mean, Elgin should have won it. But again, it's people's opinions here. And again, if I'm TNA, I would consider highly bringing in these guys. Give them a low price for now to start off, because again, they're not going to work for a high price right off the bat. You know, this came out of the indies.
well, the number one guy I'd try to sign is Adam Cole, without a doubt.
Me right now is Johnny Gargano. I try to sign Johnny right now. A thing with Adam Cole is, I think, to be honest, Adam Cole is WWE bound. Just his look alone is just he's literally just WWE in like 2 years from now.
He's
And he has that look.
WWE champion, most likely.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, only time will tell. Only time will tell if he is or not. But the guy's talented, and the fact that he's only 24 years old
oozes charisma.
Exactly.
I got a question for
Guy
you.
that I think could be like a top guy in TNA that could rival WWE. I was gonna say Lashley, but the thing is with Lashley is that he's going for again he's gonna go for the MMA thing. But a guy that I think can fill in that void for TNA is Brian Cage.
I think
I
you should.
really think-
And I said it too. Because I even met him at the New York taping. When he was leaving, I even told him, like, bro, they should sign you. The fact that they didn't sign him yet, it's a crime in itself.
Yeah.
To my understanding, he's still part of Dragon Gate and all, like Dragon Gate and the Ball, which is understandable. But I think, once that contract ends, sign him ASAP.
Yeah.
I can see him being a world champion in TNA.
Yeah.
He
has
has
the look that can, even translate into movies and shows and all sort of stuff, not just wrestling.
Hey, the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
I got a question. I was going to ask a random question. So,
me? Or
yeah, or anybody, doesn't matter who. But, it was directed at you, Steve, but anybody can chime in this one. So, Steen is, in theory, he's WWE bound. Do you think Steen is better if he had a choice? Do you think Steen would be better? Nice. Steen would be better suited in WWE or TNA, given the current state of Goldberg right now?
Kevin Steen is.
I'll let you go for it. I'll let you go for it. Then I'll go.
So Kevin Steen is probably my favorite wrestler. Period. Right now.
He promoted my channel.
I mean, he's probably my favorite. Just he's my favorite guy on the mic. Just something about him, it's just contagious. He's my favorite guy to watch in the ring. I think Kevin Steen is gonna be like Daniel Bryan and Punk in WWE. I think he's gonna have just where he organically gets over somehow. That's how I see, because Vince McMahon isn't gonna try to give this guy a huge push, because we all know Vince likes the carved out of stone guys.
This commercial's been brought to you by.
Kevin Steen is not a carved out of stone guy. He's not a WWE prototype type of guy.
Right.
And
So
knowing
that, do you think he's better suited in WWE, or do you think he would be better suited in TNA? Let's assume that let's just, for all intents and purposes, we're going to assume that he just completely bypasses NXT, 100%. He's going to go right to the main roster as himself. And TNA the same way.
Well, TNA has
There's a difference here between being suited and being used, because he would be better suited for TNA, but he wouldn't be used well, because he wouldn't be able to do the stuff he would be doing in the indies. Same thing goes for WWE, so it's really tough to call.
His finisher, the package pile driver, is pretty much banned anywhere you go in the mainstream wrestling promotions anyway.
Right.
Okay, let me say this right now, right?
Now the Steen expert, yes.
First and foremost, let me just play this, because, it's only fitting. It's only fitting It's only fitting if I do. It's only super fitting if I do. Seriously, the fact that the guy endorsed my channel. Thank you, Gavin.
Instant win.
Thank you, Gavin. But the point is, though,
I love how he just says, like, I'm just going to ruin your life.
yeah, thank you, Gavin. But the point is, though, all right, let's be honest. If you're a wrestler coming up on the indies, your dream is to make a lot of money, right? That is your dream.
His dream is to
Perform
have a super bed and live in the Rock's basement, actually.
that too. Why not? That too, and perform. And that is obviously the WWE. That's where you can make the most money in WWE.
Mhm.
And to my understanding, he has impressed so many people in his tryout. All right, he's impressed so many people in his tryout. So more than likely, he's gonna go to WWE. I read reports. Apparently, he didn't sign yet because you also got to go through medical testing, and that pretty much what determines if you sign or not. It fucked over Nigel years ago. Nigel McGuinness was supposed to go to WWE, and he fucked over in his medical. He didn't get to go, which was sad. Seeing how his career ended up being. He had a match with Angle, but that's it's for another day. But yeah, in a perfect world, you would say TNA because TNA would appreciate the character, who he is. This badass guy who's just in your face and all that, right? But I do think though in WWE, if he does go, more than likely he is. Yes, they'll ban the package pile driver because, like Perry was saying, it's it's banned. Ref is banned pretty much.
Yeah.
He won't be able to even use the F Sync, his version of the F5. But even at that, the guy can still go for a big guy. For a big guy, I can see him going an hour. He's done that before. He's done it before. He's gone matches where he went an hour, wherever.
Sure.
But just imagine this, right? Let's assume for 1 minute that he's officially signed, right? And I think NXT will be the hot show. Think about an NXT special on the network live, right? And on that card, you have Kevin Steen, you have Sami Zayn, you have Kenta and Devitt coming in soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a sick show.
Exactly. That will be and it's live on the network. I can see them doing a couple things with Steen. I can see them reforming Steen Jericho with obviously Sami Zayn, aka El Generico. Or if not, here's what I think they might fuck up. They might repackage into a whole different thing. Let's be honest. I get the vibe
Yep.
that they might. I said this before, even on my videos.
Well, they did have a Pac, so.
No. I
Scotty
think
Goldman.
no. They'll give him that Dean Douglas gimmick, Dean of Mean.
No, it'll be Ken Stevenson or
No, but I think
Kev
but the thing with Steen though,
No
no matter what you give him, he'll make it work.
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. If you watch his stuff on PWG, his last show, I think it was We Sold Ourselves for Rock and Roll. He was in a 6-man tag with the Young Bucks. And he literally dressed up just like one of the Young Bucks.
I saw some clips of that match. That was pretty good.
And he tried to do fucking, roll up, cartwheels and all that shit. He made it work.
Yeah.
So I think no matter what you give this guy, he'll make it work. He'll succeed.
He had
Fair enough.
I think it was Battle of Los Angeles 2013. He had a match with, this was early, and he had a match with Chuck Taylor. And they started out the match, and he gave the package pile driver to the hat. Some fan threw a hat in the ring, and they're like,
Giants hat.
like
Giants
and
hat.
Chuck Taylor does the moonsault on the hat, and then Kevin Steen picks it up and package pile drives it. It was awesome.
I
There
think
was
in
a
all
part
honesty,
also when he body slammed Chuck Taylor onto like instead of thumbtacks, like we thought it was gonna be thumbtacks inside a
it was
bag.
candy.
It turns out like candy. Yeah.
Candy.
That was awesome.
Again, I think he had his final match with Ring of Honor this past Saturday
Yep.
against Steve Corino. I think his real farewell will be in PWG. That will be his real farewell.
Mhm.
If it's gonna happen, I'm not sure yet. But to my understanding, he's supposed to report to Tampa or Orlando. It's Orlando now, no longer Tampa. I think it started in a couple of weeks. He has to
And
report there.
if you've noticed, they took his merch off of ProWrestlingTees.com.
I mean, he had his own website. He has, but
Like, yeah.
KevinSteenWrestles.com.
But his merch up until the WWE rumors broke, his merch was still available directly through a link on Pro Wrestling Tees.
To my understanding, apparently Ring of Honor told him to remove his stuff from ProWrestlingTees.com a while back.
Did they?
Because apparently he was promoting, obviously, ProWrestlingTees.com, but he wasn't promoting the merch in Ring of Honor site.
Right.
That's why they got upset. That's why they told him, listen, if you still want to work here, you can't be selling your shirts over there. You can't.
They're not gonna kick Kevin Steen off of their roster because he sells shirts on a.
I mean, bro, you got to realize one thing, bro. Ring of Honor, as much as I love that promotion, as much as I love it, and those of you who know me, you can call me an ROH Mark all you want. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm not trademark 629, but hey, whatever. But the point is, though,
Virtuoso Sports.
I'm not that either. But, with Ring of Honor, I'll be real. I got into it, I would say, 2011, 2012. That's when I got into it, And the thing is, though, they're trying to become mainstream. In my eyes, they already are. They had a pay-per-view.
Yep.
I
was there.
Yeah.
I was right underneath the hard camera. You can see my sign.
Did you know a kid named Jamin?
No.
1998. He was there. He had like a sign, Thanks, whatever, and some shit like that. He had some signs. He was there at the show too. And
it was a great show.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? That whole setup was major league. Like, they looked legit. The whole setup, the little Titantron there on the side. They had entrances with the wrestlers and shit. Even video Titantron, where they come out to the ring. So again, in my eyes, they are already a mainstream company. The problem is, from what I've heard from reports, that they will no longer be able to come to the Manhattan Center in New York. Because apparently the Manhattan Center had raised up the prices on all the venues. The Grand Ballroom, the Hammerstein, even TNA is fucked in a way if they come back to New York. I even said in the video, hey, if they come to New York, they should consider Madison Square Garden. Not the big-ass arena, but the theater in the garden. The theater. Which holds up to like 2,000 plus people. And if you guys don't know what that is, it was the same theater that they used for the Lions Den match back in 1998 SummerSlam between Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock.
Sick.
And I know people.
I actually watched that the other day.
People probably saying, "Oh, but wait a minute, though. Wait a minute." I know you're probably saying, "Oh, this guy's talking too fucking long. We gotta go. I apologize." But the point is, people are saying, "Oh, but MSG is a WWE building, right? Because the history and all that." But if you think about it too, WWE has endorsed. Yeah, but there's history with WWE, MSG, no matter what But WWE has endorsed Ring of Honor so many times. On the website, on the CM Punk DVD, and all that. So you would assume that, hey, because of this, they wouldn't mind if Ring of Honor came to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. You guys ready to send this stuff home?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go back to the Steam thing just real quick, and I wanted to ask you, Steven.
Sure.
Do you see Steam having better competition in TNA or in WWE? Better competition?
I mean, depends where he goes. Let's see. Right now in TNA, let's assume right now he's signed with TNA right now, right? Who would he face? Bobby Roode. He would face James Storm. He could face Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards, Austin Aries, who we already faced.
Joe match would be pretty cool.
I think
they'll team him up with Bully Ray.
A match with Joe.
They actually had a match before back in the day. I think some indie show,
Yeah.
But again,
It wasn't what it would be now, though.
Yeah,
now
because
you bring Sting in the right way, and you've got to give it a year. Give it a year to build, and then clash them up, and that would be a sick match.
Absolutely, yeah, of course. And guys like James Storm. He also has Eric Young. I guess you want to consider Eric Young.
Oh yeah.
MVP, Kenny King, guys that he already wrestled in some type of way, but obviously became the WWE. That's where he has, I guess, more competition based off the names of people that are there. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan. Everyone's dream, every Steen Marks, not mine, but the majority of those, their dream is to see Kevin Steen beat the fuck out of John Cena. And I hate to say it, but that's not gonna happen.
Team Lesnar.
Nah, that's not happening either. That's not happening. That's not happening either. I'm sorry.
I feel like if Steen comes to the main roster, he'll kind of take the place of Rusev. Not the foreign gimmick, but
Nah, I doubt that
No,
too.
Rusev's going to be a comedy character by the end of the year. As for if Steen came in, I don't see a very rapid push to the main event scene. I see a very slow but productive one.
The problem is,
if you're gonna bring Steen in, you let him be himself. You don't give him a gimmick.
the problem is WWE. They're gonna want to bring out more of his entertaining side. So more than likely, he'll be
The next
wrestling.
Brodus Clay.
He'll be wrestling with a singlet on, with the singlet. No longer the t-shirt cut up or the shorts. He'll be wrestling in a singlet. More than likely, they'll have him shave off his beard. More than likely, I mean, again, bro. Put it this way, right? Put it this way. If you are a wrestler and you can sign with WWE and you are guaranteed, money to have you set for life, if WWE told you to do something, to go out of the ring in a pink G-string, you would do it.
I don't know. See, I mean, the thing about
it's
a different level when you're, because like AJ Styles, Kevin Steen, right now these guys are at the top of the indies. Like they're
absolutely
very top. Like they're so far at the top, in fact, that mainstream fans are watching their indie stuff and buying, like, Bullet Club t-shirts are like Japan's best-selling merch right now.
Yeah, people in America want it so badly.
Exactly, and it's ridiculous because, I mean, wherever these guys go, so they can make a really solid living on the indies, unlike, like, you've got your lower indie guys who can't necessarily do that, and they're like, yeah, WWE, I get guaranteed paycheck. But when you're Kevin Steen, I mean, indies are seeking you out, like,
pretty much. Hey, Connor, quick question. I know you got to knock out in a bit, but I'm sure you heard this news. It's apparently the botch heard on the internet by Vince Russo. Did you hear about it?
No.
that he's still
No, what happened here?
That he's still working for TNA apparently.
Oh,
he denied it. He denied it for a while. Apparently, TNA had been trying to keep it hush
I did
hush.
hear about that. Yeah.
Spike hates.
Yeah. What happened was, like, he denied violently, like, he was not working for TNA. He was not working for TNA. He was not working for TNA. And then an email leaked. Oh, that email was supposed to be for two parties. So yeah.
How about fuck that guy get it? But yeah, Michael Johnson, I think it is. Michael Johnson from PW Insider.
But not just that. Apparently, he's like, well, I'm not working on the creative process. I'm working on the commentary.
That's still part of creative. I mean, listen, I don't hate Vince Russo. Like, I'll admit people give him shit because of WCW, but they fail to realize that this is the guy that gave you the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? He gave you but in my opinion, I do feel that his work is completely outdated.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Vince Russo, the most common thing would be, all right, you know what? If I'm working commentary, first thing I do, get rid of Mike Tenay. Bring in a young guy. And that young guy could be Josh Matthews.
I wouldn't mind that.
Just imagine
Jeremy Borash.
Just imagine Josh Matthews and Taz, or Josh Matthews, Jeremy Borash.
Mm-hmm.
That could work. You gotta have a young voice of you know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, nothing against Mike Tenay. I'm in WCW. The guy was, the professor. He knew about his lucha libre, his Japanese. That's fine. But the shit that he does is not gonna work in 2014. If this was 1998, 1994, 1997, by all means, brother, go ahead.
Yeah, they need to change that, definitely.
And I hate to bring this topic up, but Jim Ross's WWE obligations just ended. What do you think about Jim Ross doing some guest TNA commentary? He's mentioned on his podcast that he'd be willing to.
I doubt he'll do it.
I need to.
Isn't he doing boxing right now?
He has a contract with Fox Sports.
MMA.
He has a
No,
contract
That
with
and
Fox
his
Sports.
He doesn't have the official contract yet.
Apparently,
That
yeah.
and his games.
Apparently, though, it's with Golden Boy, with Oscar De La Hoya. He has a contract
Yeah,
with Golden Boy, which but at the end of the day, it'd be cool to see happen. If you think about it too, though, Jim Ross is WWE.
Yeah.
It's like saying, for example, if you were to go back in the 1970s or 1960s, you'd have Gordon Soley do commentary for WWF. The guy was all Florida. It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
Exactly. and so long for the Sunshine State. We're not,
His face is like a crimson mask.
his face is like a crimson mask, and oh my god, a dusty road, and oh my god, the one and two, it's all over. Ric Flair, the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion of the world, and the crowd was on their feet here in the Omni, ladies and gentlemen.
He's so monotone. I love it.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel down below in the description box and all that shit, and support the Team Heel podcast every Friday.
And on that, I guess we're giving
Thank
Talk
you,
about-
Glenn.
plugs.
We talk about sex and politics and society and all that fun hoopity hoopla and all that fun stuff.
That thing you young kids talk about.
That and the marijuana and the that shit that fucked that shit that fucked up Missy Hyatt real bad. Hey, which kind of really did if you think about it. Like I seen some of her stuff from WCW, and she was beautiful as fuck. And now it's
Back
like,
in the
damn,
80s.
plastic surgery and cocaine really fuck. It's like Bridget Nielsen almost. She's wrestling Bridget Nielsen almost in a way.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Hell yeah. And I'll be real. I mean, normally, if Raw was bad, I'd be watching MasterChef right now. If Raw was bad. It got to that point a couple weeks ago. It was that bad. Like, fuck this. I'm watching MasterChef. I'd rather see Gordon Ramsay yell and do that type of shit. But in the words of a good friend Andre Corbeil, I digress. I digress.
Oh man, for some reason I remembered Dave Chappelle's Rick James impression.
It's funny, right? I'm planning on doing? This is my idea, right? I'm planning on doing a parody video, right? I've done it before with Brian for WrestleMania. I've done it. And I plan on doing it again this time with Brock. You know how WrestleMania 30, everyone, complained that, oh, Brock ended the streak, right? I read reports where people apparently were sending him death threats to his house and shit. And yet, mind you, I'm going to pretend to dress up like, Mark, if you will. And I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. How the hell do you have Brock Lesnar end the streak? Fuck you, Brock Lesnar. Screw you. No more Brock. And then have to see when Brock beats Cena. Oh my God, Brock is the man, Brock is number one. Some shit like that. I got that in mind.
In between, you should have the guy from SpongeBob SquarePants go, 6 months later.
6
An
months
eternity
later.
later.
6 months later. Oh my God, it's Brock Lesnar. He's gonna beat Cena. He's gonna kill him. And damn.
You should do that too, okay, Fabe. Like
I actually
when
have-
the Undertaker, like when Undertaker's streak ended, you should do that Booker T thing.
I was gonna tell you. I actually had a video a while back, and I talked about my story, how I got into wrestling. I pretty much told my story. I think all of us have a story, right? All of us.
I have it primed, ready to go. I have to finish editing it, but I wanted to mention this last time to you. I do have it ready to go. It will be published this week.
Awesome. But I do feel like, again, all of us have a story. You know what I'm saying? And my story was, I was 1 year old. Fresh out the womb. So what happened when you have a nanny who doesn't speak any English? Go into your brother's room and just grab a tape, and there you go. That's how it all started. It all started in the living room, in the videotape.
That's when the Fire Nation attacked.
That's when that's when it all began. And after that, daycare, I got suspended. Put a kid in the sharpshooter. I was bad. Oh yeah. And I tried to do the whole scene. You know how back in the day you used to see the scene where the heel put the baby in a submission hold, and they got referees coming in trying to have them let go of the hold and shit, whatever it may be. That's what I tried to.
Taking it in.
You had teachers walk in with fucking janitors and shit trying to have me let go of the hold. Let go of the hold! Let go of the hold! And I did eventually. I did. And I remember I got suspended for like 1 day. And it's funny, I'm still friends with the guy that I did it. That I did the whole submission. We'd laugh about, I remember putting the sharpshooter a while back. Yeah, I remember that shit. But yeah.
I remember
That's
putting a guy in a headlock in school one time for like a half hour.
Have any of you ever used a wrestling move in a fight? Like an actual wrestling move in a actual fight?
I did the crippler crossface once.
I remember It was
Busted a guy's lip.
it was after a house party. A German suplexed the guy outside.
Oh, nice. Solid.
That's
I,
awesome.
I German suplexed him.
Well, unfortunately, gentlemen, I gotta head out.
Don't we all?
All right, you want to start ending it?
Please
I
don't
gotta head out
go.
also.
Please don't go. Please
One
don't
more
go.
match.
I literally
One
have to
more
wake up in 2 hours for a shift.
Yeah, me. Yeah, I gotta go lay pipe. So yeah, I gotta
All right,
go.
let's start ending this. Thank you guys for watching. This it's not even a Raw review anymore. It's just
Shooting the
random
shit.
whatever.
Shooting the shit.
You know what?
Shooting the shit. Is
You
that
know what
what
it really is? You know what this whole thing really should be?
Fuck it.
Just get a gif of that. Just that one. But yeah, let's get some plugs in real quick before we head out here. Where can we all find you guys?
Who wants to go first?
Start with
go
Eddie,
first.
just in the line.
Thriller Terrain on YouTube, as well as on Facebook, as well as on Twitter.
All right, talking wrestling.
Alright, you can find us at Talking Wrestling on Twitter, and then youtube.com/Talking Wrestling, or just type it into the search bar. That's Talking Wrestling with no spaces.
All right, the heel himself, Heel Steven.
Well, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, as you see on the screen, youtube.com/HeelSteven. Also, follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. Also, subscribe to the podcast channel, youtube.com/TeamHeelPodcast. We go live every Friday. Well, normally it's Friday, but this week will be Friday. Time to be determined, but we go live. We talk about wrestling and all these other usual stuff that happen in society. Combat sports and all that. And also, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/GutCheckPodcast.
All right, all right. And before he passes out, okay, Fabe, where can we find you?
So you can find all my lovely stuff over at youtube.com/okfabe4ever, and also at Twitter at okfabe as well too. That's pretty much all I got before I
Yeah.
pass
You can
out.
find me on Twitter at the PTE Show. You're obviously watching the show on my account here, so go ahead and click the subscribe button. All the links will be down in the description. Let us know what you guys thought about Raw and whatever we were talking about today. And that should do it. We're out.
And we're out like Janet's titties.
All right.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
We're out
We're
like
like
Nick.
Nikki's nipples.
We're out like Bree. Yeah, that too. That was Bree.
That
No,
was
was it Nikki's
No,
that
that
popped
was
out
Nikki.
Yep.
tonight?
Same shit. They're all this. Well, yeah. Now, except for now,
Twins.
not anymore. Not
Peace.
anymore.
All right. Till next time. Peace.
Hoping to capture